The child's screams cut through the evening air like broken glass. Theodore Harrison pulled his silver sedan into the grocery store parking lot, his hands still gripping the steering wheel as his eyes landed on the source of the sound. A little girl no more than 6 years old stood beside a rusted brown car. Her pink jacket was too thin for the November cold. Her face was wet with tears, and her small hands pounded against the driver's side window. Theodore sat frozen for a moment. He'd been heading home after another long day at his office, looking forward to nothing more than silence and a glass of wine. At 42, he'd built an empire in real estate development. He had everything most people dreamed of: wealth, respect, a penthouse view of the city. But he went home to empty rooms every night. No wife. No children. No family waiting for him. The little girl's cries grew louder. Theodore could see through the car window now. A woman slumped over the steering wheel, motionless. His heart dropped. He got out of his car and walked quickly toward the child. She turned to look at him with wide, terrified brown eyes. Her hair was pulled into two ponytails that had come loose. Her face was streaked with tears and something that looked like dried juice. "Please," the little girl sobbed. "My mama won't wake up. I tried and tried. She won't wake up." Theodore knelt down beside her, his expensive suit getting dirty on the cold pavement. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Amara." Her voice was so small. "Amara, I'm Theodore. I'm going to help you and your mama, okay?" He pulled out his phone and dialed 911. While he talked to the operator, he kept one hand on Amara's shoulder. She was shaking. He didn't know if it was from cold or fear. Probably both. The operator asked him questions. He answered them while trying to see into the car. The woman inside wasn't moving at all. Her skin looked gray even in the parking lot lights. "Is there anyone else with you?" Theodore asked Amara gently. "A daddy? A grandmother?" Amara shook her head. "Just mama. She said she was tired. She said we'd go home soon. But then she closed her eyes and I couldn't wake her up. I'm hungry. We were supposed to get food." Theodore's chest tightened. How long had this child been standing here alone, trying to wake her mother? He looked around the parking lot. People walked past, going in and out of the store. Had no one noticed? "When did your mama close her eyes?" he asked. "I don't know." Amara started crying harder. It was still light outside. "Now it's dark. I tried to open the door but it's locked. Mama always locks the doors." Hours. This baby had been standing here for hours. The ambulance arrived with flashing lights. Paramedics rushed to the car. One of them got the door open. Theodore saw them working on the woman, but their faces told him everything. She was gone. Maybe had been gone for hours while her daughter stood outside crying for her. A police officer approached Theodore and Amara. Theodore explained what he'd found. The officer was kind but needed to ask Amara questions. Where did they live? Did she have other family? The little girl didn't know her address. She said her mama had a sister named Nia but she lived far away. She didn't know any phone numbers. The paramedics came over. One of them, a young woman with red hair, crouched down to talk to Amara. "Sweetheart, your mama was very sick. Her heart stopped working. The doctors are going to take her to the hospital, but honey, I need you to understand that she's not going to wake up." Amara stared at her. "But she has to wake up. Who's going to take care of me?" Theodore felt something break inside his chest. He looked at the officer. "What happens to her now?" "We'll call child services. They'll find her emergency placement tonight, probably a foster home. Then they'll try to track down family members." "A foster home?" Theodore looked down at Amara, who was crying quietly now, her small body shaking with each sob. "She doesn't know anyone. She's been through enough tonight." The officer nodded sympathetically. "I understand, sir, but that's the procedure." Theodore made a decision that would change his life. "No. She's coming home with me." The officer looked surprised. "Sir, I appreciate your concern, but you can't just take a child. There are procedures, background checks, and legal requirements. Then start them. Now." Theodore pulled out his wallet and handed over his business card. "I'm Theodore Harrison. I own Harrison Development Group. I have lawyers who can work through the night if needed. This little girl shouldn't go to a stranger's house tonight. She's been traumatized enough." The officer looked at the card, then at Theodore. "Mr. Harrison, even with your resources, this takes time. Then let me stay with her wherever child services takes her. I'll sleep in my car outside if I have to. But I'm not leaving her alone." Theodore surprised himself with the firmness in his voice. He'd made billion-dollar deals with less conviction than he felt right now. Something in Theodore's face must have convinced the officer. The next few hours were a blur of phone calls, paperwork, and conversations. Theodore's lawyer arrived. Child services sent a social worker. Everyone asked Amara gentle questions. She was exhausted, hungry, and in shock. Theodore bought her food from the grocery store. She ate a sandwich slowly, sitting in the back of the ambulance wrapped in a blanket. Finally, at nearly midnight, arrangements were made. Theodore could take Amara home with him temporarily. A social worker would visit in the morning. It wasn't standard procedure, but Theodore's clean background check, his financial stability, and his genuine concern for the child's welfare made everyone willing to bend the rules just this once. Theodore led Amara to his car. She climbed into the back seat and buckled herself in with shaking hands. As he drove through the quiet streets toward his home, he glanced in the rearview mirror. Amara was staring out the window with empty eyes. "Amara," he said softly, "I know tonight was very scary. I know you miss your mama. But I promise you something. I'm going to take care of you. You're not alone anymore." Amara didn't respond. She just kept staring out the window. Theodore gripped the steering wheel tighter. What was he doing? He didn't know anything about raising a child. He worked 60-hour weeks. His refrigerator was empty except for takeout containers. His penthouse was full of expensive furniture but no toys, no warmth, no life. But as he pulled into his building's parking garage, he knew he couldn't turn back now. He wouldn't turn back. That little girl had stood in a parking lot crying for help while people walked past. He wouldn't be another person who walked past. He parked and helped Amara out of the car. She held his hand as they walked to the elevator. Her little hand was so small in his. So trusting despite everything she'd been through. "Am I going to live with you?" she asked in the elevator. Theodore looked down at her. Her brown eyes were red from crying. Her face was streaked with dirt and tears. She looked lost and broken and so very small. "Yes," he said. "For as long as you need to. I'll be your father now if you'll let me." Amara didn't say anything. But she didn't let go of his hand either. And for Theodore that was enough for now. Have you ever wondered what you would do if you saw a child in need? Would you walk past like everyone else, or would you stop and change both your lives forever? Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to see how this unexpected family grows. The elevator doors opened to Theodore's penthouse. He'd lived here for 5 years and suddenly saw it through different eyes. Everything was white, gray, or black. Glass and chrome everywhere. Sharp corners. No color. No softness. Definitely no place for a 6-year-old child. Amara walked in slowly, still holding his hand. She looked around at the huge space with its floor-to-ceiling windows showing the city lights below. Theodore's home took up the entire top floor of the building. It had cost him $3 million. Right now it felt cold and empty. "Are you hungry?" Theodore asked. Then he remembered she'd eaten the sandwich. "Thirsty? Do you want some water? Or milk?" Did he have milk? He didn't think so. Amara shook her head. She was staring at the windows. "We're really high up." "Yes, we're on the 30th floor. You can see the whole city from here. During the day you can see the river." Amara didn't seem impressed. She just looked tired. Theodore remembered she'd been standing in that parking lot for hours. Then all the questions and procedures. She had to be exhausted. "Let me show you where you'll sleep," Theodore said. He led her down the hallway to one of his guest rooms. It had a queen-sized bed with white sheets, a modern dresser, and nothing else. No personality. No comfort. Amara looked at the big bed. "I never slept in a bed this big." "Well, tonight you can spread out as much as you want." Theodore tried to smile. "Let me find you something to wear. Your clothes are dirty." He went to his room and found the smallest t-shirt he owned. It would be enormous on her, but it was clean and soft. When he came back, Amara was sitting on the edge of the bed, swinging her legs. They didn't touch the floor. "Do you want to take a bath first?" Theodore asked. "Get cleaned up?" Amara nodded. Theodore showed her the bathroom. Another problem. He had men's soap, men's shampoo, and nothing appropriate for a child. He'd have to go shopping tomorrow. For tonight, he helped her figure out the shower controls and left her alone, standing outside the door in case she needed help. 20 minutes later, Amara came out wearing his t-shirt like a dress. It hung down to her ankles. Her wet hair dripped onto the fabric. Theodore grabbed a towel and gently dried her hair. She stood very still while he did it, like she was afraid to move. "Better?" he asked. "Yes, sir." "You don't have to call me sir. Theodore is fine. Or Mr. Harrison if that's more comfortable." Amara looked up at him with those big brown eyes. "What should I call you?" Theodore's throat felt tight. He thought about what he'd said in the car. "I'll be your father now." But he didn't want to push her. Whatever feels right to you. We'll figure it out together. He tucked her into the big bed. She looked so small in the middle of it, almost swallowed by white sheets and pillows. Theodore sat on the edge of the bed. I know today was hard, he said quietly. I know you're sad about your mama. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. And it's okay to be scared. This is all new and different. But I meant what I said. You're safe here. I'm going to take care of you. Amara's eyes filled with tears. I want my mama. I know, sweetheart. I know. Theodore didn't know what else to say. How do you comfort a child who'd lost everything? He stayed there, sitting on the bed until her breathing slowed and she fell asleep. Then he stayed a bit longer just to make sure she was really resting. When he finally stood up, his back ached from sitting in one position too long. He left the door open a crack so he could hear if she woke up. Then he went to the living room and collapsed on his couch. What had he done? He'd committed to taking care of a child he didn't know. A child who'd just lost her mother. A child who needed stability, love and care that he had no idea how to provide. Theodore pulled out his phone. It was 2 a.m, but he called his assistant anyway. Patricia answered on the third ring, her voice groggy. Mr. Harrison? Is everything okay? Patricia, I need you to clear my schedule for tomorrow. Actually, clear it for the week. The whole week. But you have the Johnson meeting and the presentation to the investors and reschedule everything. I'll explain tomorrow. He paused. Actually, I need you to do something else first thing in the morning. I need you to go shopping. Clothes for a 6-year-old girl. Everything she might need. Pajamas, regular clothes, shoes, a winter coat. And toys. Books. Whatever a child her age would want. Can you do that? There was a long silence. Mr. Harrison, did you just say a 6-year-old girl? I'll explain everything tomorrow. Just please, can you do this? Of course. What size? Theodore realized he had no idea. She's small. Thin. Maybe ask the store clerk to help you? And Patricia, get everything in bright colors. Reds, blues, greens. Happy colors. After he hung up, Theodore called his lawyer. Then he called a cleaning service that worked nights. By morning, he wanted the second guest room converted into a proper child's bedroom. He gave them a credit card number and told them to buy whatever they thought a little girl would need. A smaller bed. Colorful bedding. A night light. Soft rugs. Then he sat in the dark, looking out at the city lights, wondering if he'd completely lost his mind. The social worker arrived at 9 the next morning. Her name was Mrs. Patricia Cole, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She asked to speak with Amara first. Theodore waited in the kitchen while they talked in the living room. He couldn't hear their conversation, but he heard Amara's small voice answering questions. After 30 minutes, Mrs. Cole came to find Theodore. She seems comfortable with you. That's good. She told me you were kind to her last night. That you stayed with her until she fell asleep. I couldn't leave her alone. Not after everything. Mrs. Cole nodded. I've reviewed your background check. You're clean. No criminal record. Stable employment, though I understand you're quite more than stable financially. The question is, Mr. Harrison, why? Why take on a child you don't know? Theodore had been asking himself the same question all night. I saw a little girl who needed help. Everyone else walked past. I couldn't do that. And once I started helping, I couldn't just stop. She needs someone. She needs family. We're trying to locate her aunt. The mother had a sister listed as emergency contact, but the phone number is disconnected. We're working on finding her. Theodore felt a strange twist in his stomach. Relief and disappointment at the same time. Of course Amara needed her real family. But he'd only had her for one night and already he felt protective of her. What happens while you're looking? Usually foster care. But given the circumstances and your willingness, I'm approving temporary guardianship. We'll need regular check-ins. I'll visit weekly. If we find the aunt and she wants custody, then we'll deal with that when it comes. But for now, Amara can stay with you. You're officially her guardian. After Mrs. Cole left, Theodore found Amara still sitting on the couch. She'd changed into the clothes she'd worn yesterday. They were wrinkled and dirty. Amara, I have people coming today to bring you new clothes. And we're going to fix up a bedroom just for you. Would you like that? She nodded slowly. How long can I stay? As long as you want. This is your home now. Over the next few days, Theodore's organized, quiet life became something completely different. His assistant Patricia arrived with bags and bags of clothes. The night crew had transformed the second guest room into a little girl's paradise, with a small bed with a purple comforter, stuffed animals, a bookshelf full of children's books and soft pink rugs on the floor. There was even a small desk for homework. Amara walked into the room and stopped. She looked around at everything. This is for me? All for you. She walked to the bed and touched the purple comforter. I never had my own room before. Me and Mama shared. Theodore felt that tightness in his chest again. Well, now you have your own space. You can keep it however you want. The hardest part was the grief. Amara would seem fine one moment, and then something would remind her of her mother. She'd start crying sometimes for hours. Theodore would hold her and let her cry. He didn't know what else to do. He couldn't fix this. He couldn't bring her mother back. All he could do was be there. He hired a grief counselor who specialized in children. Dr. Rachel Foster came 3 times a week. She was patient and gentle with Amara. She also gave Theodore advice on how to help her process her loss. You're doing well, Dr. Foster told him after the 2nd week. You're giving her stability and safety. That's what she needs right now. Time and patience. Theodore also enrolled Amara in school. She'd missed 2 weeks already. The principal was understanding when Theodore explained the situation. They placed Amara in 1st grade and assigned her a teacher who was experienced with children dealing with trauma. Every morning, Theodore drove Amara to school. Every afternoon he picked her up. He'd never spent so much time away from his office. His business partners were confused. His employees were surprised. But Theodore didn't care. Amara needed him. At night he read to her. They'd sit together on her bed and work through picture books. Sometimes she'd fall asleep before he finished. Other times she'd ask him to read the same book 3 times in a row. He never said no. Slowly, carefully, Amara started to come back to life. She smiled sometimes. She laughed at a cartoon on television. She asked for chocolate milk. Small things, but they felt like victories. 3 weeks after Theodore found her in that parking lot, Amara called him Teddy for the first time. Not Theodore. Not Mr. Harrison. Teddy. It was dinner time. They were eating pizza at the kitchen table. Teddy, can I have more pizza? She asked. Theodore looked at her. You can call me that if you want. Is it okay? It's more than okay. That night, after he tucked her in, Amara hugged him tight. Thank you for taking care of me, Teddy. Theodore hugged her back, his eyes wet. Thank you for letting me. He walked back to his room feeling like maybe, just maybe, he hadn't completely messed this up. Maybe he could actually do this. Maybe they could actually be a family. Then the doorbell rang. It was 9 at night. Theodore frowned and walked to the door. He looked through the peephole and saw a woman he didn't recognize. She was African American, probably in her early 30s with her hair pulled back. She wore jeans and a green sweater. She looked exhausted and upset. Theodore opened the door. Can I help you? The woman looked at him with tears in her eyes. I'm looking for Amara. I'm her aunt. I'm here to take her home. Theodore stood in the doorway, his hand still on the doorknob. The woman in front of him had the same eyes as Amara. The same shape to her face. He could see the family resemblance immediately. You're Nia, he said. It wasn't a question. Nia Washington. I'm Amara's aunt. Her mother was my sister, Tasha. Her voice cracked on her sister's name. I just found out. I was working in Dubai. I didn't even know she was sick. I didn't know she couldn't finish the sentence. Theodore stepped back. Come in. Please. Nia walked into the penthouse, but she didn't look around at the expensive furniture or the view. Her eyes went straight down the hallway. Where is she? Where's Amara? She's sleeping. It's 9 o'clock. I need to see her. Please. I flew 18 hours straight. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten. I just need to see my niece. Theodore understood. He led Nia down the hallway to Amara's room. The door was open a crack. They walked in quietly. Amara was curled up in her purple bed, holding a stuffed bear. Her face was peaceful in sleep. Nia put her hand over her mouth. Tears rolled down her face. She walked to the bed and knelt beside it, reaching out to touch Amara's hair gently. Oh, baby girl, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I wasn't here. Theodore stood by the door, feeling like he was intruding on a private moment. After a few minutes, Nia stood up and walked out. Theodore followed her back to the living room. I don't understand, Nia said. She was pacing now. The social worker said a man had temporary guardianship. I thought maybe he was a family friend or something. But you're not. I've never seen you before. How did you end up with my niece? Theodore told her the whole story. The parking lot. Amara crying. Her mother dead in the car. The decision to take her home instead of letting her go to foster care. Nia listened, her hand pressed to her mouth. All those people walked past her? Nia's voice was filled with anger. She was there for hours and no one helped? I was the first person who stopped. Nia looked at him for a long moment. Thank you. Thank you for helping her. For taking care of her. But I'm here now. I'll take her home with me. I'm her family. Theodore had known this was coming. He'd told himself to be ready. But hearing it out loud made his chest hurt. He'd only had Amara for 3 weeks, but she'd become part of his life. Still, Nia was right. She was Amara's real family. Of course, Theodore said. She should be with her family. But can I ask, where will you take her? Do you live in the city? Nia sat down on the couch. She suddenly looked very tired. I did. Before I took the job in Dubai. I gave up my apartment because I was going to be gone for a year. I just got back tonight. I came straight from the airport. So where are you staying? A hotel for now. I'll find an apartment. I have some money saved. Theodore sat down in the chair across from her. Amara has been through a lot. Moving again to a hotel, then to a new apartment while you're apartment hunting and job hunting. That's a lot of change on top of losing her mother. Nia's eyes flashed. What are you saying? That I can't take care of my own niece? No. I'm saying you need time to get settled. And I'm offering to help. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. It's common sense. Theodore leaned forward. Look, I know you don't know me. You have no reason to trust me. But I've spent the last 3 weeks taking care of Amara. I've seen her cry herself to sleep. I've seen her wake up screaming from nightmares. She's starting to feel safe here. She's in school. She has a routine. Taking her away from all that right now, when she's still grieving, when she's still trying to feel stable. That's not going to help her. So what do you suggest? That I just leave her with you? A stranger? No. I suggest you stay too. I have a guest house connected to this building. It's on the 5th floor. 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, completely separate entrance. You and Amara can stay there. You'll have your privacy, your own space. But Amara won't have to leave her school or her counselor or everything she's gotten used to. And you'll have time to find a job, save money, and figure out what comes next. When you're ready, really ready, you can move into your own place with Amara. Nia stared at him. Why would you do that? Why would you let us stay for free? I'm not asking you to stay for free. I'm asking you to accept help. There's a difference. I don't understand you. What do you get out of this? Theodore thought about that. What did he get? The truth was he didn't want to lose Amara. In 3 weeks she changed his life. She'd made his empty home feel full. She'd given him a purpose beyond work and money. But that wasn't fair to say to Nia. This wasn't about what he wanted. I get to know that Amara is okay, Theodore said. That she has her aunt and stability at the same time. That she doesn't have to lose everything all at once. That's what I get. Nia looked away. Theodore could see her fighting with herself. Pride versus practicality. He understood. She didn't want to accept help from a stranger. But she also wanted what was best for Amara. I need to think about it, Nia finally said. Of course. You can stay here tonight. There's another guest room. Get some sleep. In the morning you can talk to Amara. See how she feels. Then decide. Nia nodded slowly. Theodore showed her to the guest room. The one he'd slept in that first night before they'd converted the other room for Amara. He gave her towels and told her to help herself to anything in the kitchen. Thank you, Nia said quietly. For everything you've done for Amara. I mean that. You don't have to thank me. She's a special little girl. After Nia closed the door, Theodore went back to his room. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, Amara would wake up and find her aunt here. She'd be happy. Confused probably, but happy. She loved Nia. Theodore had heard her mention her aunt during her sessions with Dr. Foster. But what would happen after that? Would Nia take Amara and disappear? Would Theodore ever see her again? The thought made him sad in a way he didn't expect. He'd fallen in love with that little girl. Not romantic love, obviously. But the kind of love a father has for a daughter. The protective, fierce, unconditional kind. He'd told Amara he'd be her father. He'd meant it. But now her real family was here. Maybe it was time to step back. Maybe his role in Amara's life was over. Theodore didn't sleep much that night. When morning came he got up and made coffee. Nia came out of the guest room looking like she hadn't slept much either. Morning, Theodore said. Coffee? Please. They sat at the kitchen counter in silence. Then they heard small footsteps in the hallway. Amara appeared in her pajamas, her hair messy from sleep. She saw Theodore first and smiled. Morning, Teddy. Good morning, sweetheart. Then Amara turned and saw Nia. Her eyes went huge. Aunt Nia? Hi, baby girl. Nia's voice was thick with emotion. Amara ran across the room and threw herself into Nia's arms. Nia caught her and held on tight, both of them crying. Theodore turned away to give them privacy. He walked to the window and looked out at the city, his coffee cup warm in his hands. I missed you so much, Amara was saying. Did you know about Mama? Did you know she died? I just found out, baby. I came as fast as I could. Are you going to stay? Please stay. I want you to stay. Theodore heard them talking, heard Amara's excitement and relief. This was good. This was what she needed. Family. After a while, Nia came to find Theodore. Amara was in her room, getting dressed for school. She wants me to stay, Nia said. She asked if I could live here too. I didn't know what to say. What do you want to say? Nia looked at him. I want to be proud and independent. I want to tell you I don't need help. But the truth is, I do. I spent all my savings on medical bills for my mom before she died 2 years ago. Then I took the job in Dubai to rebuild. I have about $5,000 saved. That's not enough to rent an apartment and support Amara in this city. Not for long. So accept my offer. Stay in the guest house. Take the time you need. If I do this, there have to be rules. This isn't charity. I'll pay you back. Every cent. When I get back on my feet, I'll pay rent, I'll pay for Amara's expenses, everything. Agreed. And I need to find a job right away. I'm a certified nursing assistant. I was working at a hospital before Dubai. I know people at several hospitals in the city. I can make some calls. Nia hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Thank you. But I'm serious about paying you back. I know you are. They shook hands. Theodore felt relief flood through him. He wouldn't lose Amara. Not yet, anyway. They'd figure out how to make this work. Later that day, Theodore took Amara to school while Nia moved her things from the hotel into the guest house. It wasn't much. 2 suitcases. When Theodore and Amara came back that afternoon, Nia was waiting in the guest house living room. It was smaller than Theodore's penthouse but still nice. 2 bedrooms, an open kitchen, and windows that looked out on the city. Amara was thrilled. She ran from room to room, excited that her aunt was here. That night, Amara wanted to eat dinner with both of them. So Nia came upstairs to Theodore's place and they ordered Chinese food. It was strange, sitting at his table with Nia and Amara. Like playing house. Like pretending to be a family. But as they ate and talked, as Amara told Nia about her school and her counselor and the books Theodore read to her every night, it started to feel less like pretending. Maybe this could work. Maybe they could all be part of Amara's life together. Maybe this was exactly what she needed. After dinner, Nia took Amara downstairs to get ready for bed. Theodore cleaned up the kitchen, his mind spinning. He'd made a lot of big decisions in his life. Business deals worth millions of dollars. Real estate investments that could make or break his company. But none of them had felt as important as this. He'd just invited a woman he didn't know to live in his building. A woman who was now part of his life whether he wanted it or not. A woman with beautiful brown eyes and a fierce love for her niece. A woman who made him feel things he hadn't felt in a very long time. Theodore pushed that thought away. This wasn't about him. This was about Amara. Only about Amara. But as he went to bed that night, he couldn't stop thinking about Nia Washington. And he couldn't stop wondering what the next few weeks would bring. The first few days with Nia living in the guest house were awkward. Theodore wasn't sure how to act around her. Should he check in every day? Give her space? Offer more help? He didn't want to overstep, but he also didn't want to seem cold or uncaring. Nia seemed to be struggling with the same questions. She'd bring Amara upstairs in the mornings so Theodore could drive her to school. But she'd leave right away, barely staying long enough for coffee. At night, she'd come get Amara after dinner. They'd go back downstairs to their separate space. Amara was the bridge between them. She wanted time with both of them. She'd talk about Nia to Theodore and about Theodore to Nia. She'd ask Theodore to come downstairs sometimes, or ask Nia to stay for dinner more often. After a week of this careful dance, Theodore made a decision. He knocked on the guest house door one Saturday morning. Nia answered in jeans and a red t-shirt, her hair pulled up. Theodore. Is everything okay? Yes. I just thought maybe we could all do something together today. Take Amara somewhere. She's been cooped up all week with school and routines. Maybe she'd like to go to the park? Or the children's museum? Nia looked surprised. You want to spend your Saturday with us? If that's okay with you. Nia was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded. Okay. Let me ask Amara. Amara was overjoyed at the idea. They ended up going to the Science Museum. It was full of interactive exhibits for kids. Amara ran from one to another, pulling both Theodore and Nia along. She wanted them to see everything, to do everything with her. In the physics section there was a display about bridges. Amara spent 20 minutes building different structures and testing them. Theodore found himself standing next to Nia, watching. "She's smart," Nia said quietly. Tasha always said that. She wanted Amara to go to college someday. To have opportunities she never had. "What happened to your sister?" Theodore asked gently. "If you don't mind me asking." Nia's face was sad. She had a bad heart. Congenital heart disease. She'd been sick her whole life. The doctor said she shouldn't have kids, but she wanted Amara so badly. She took the risk. And for 6 years she did okay. She managed. But her heart was getting worse. She knew it. I think that's why she tried so hard to do normal things with Amara, even when she didn't feel good. She wanted to give her as much as she could while she was still here. "I'm sorry." "Me too. We grew up in foster care together. Our mom had us but couldn't take care of us. Drugs. We bounced around different homes. Tasha always protected me. She was older by 2 years. When we aged out of the system, she worked 2 jobs to put me through nursing school. She was supposed to be the one I took care of when I got established. That was the plan. But then I had to go to Dubai for the money and..." Her voice broke. "I should have been here." Theodore didn't know what to say. So he just stood there with her, both of them watching Amara play. After a while, Nia spoke again. "Thank you for this. For taking care of her when I couldn't. I know I've been prickly about accepting help. It's hard for me. Growing up the way we did, you learn not to depend on anyone. You learn that people let you down. But you didn't let Amara down. You stepped up when no one else did. I'm glad I was there that night." They looked at each other. Theodore saw something shift in Nia's eyes. Like she was seeing him differently now. Not as a stranger or an obstacle, but as someone she could maybe trust. Over the next few weeks they fell into a new routine. One that included all 3 of them. They'd have breakfast together most mornings before Amara went to school. Nia would make eggs or pancakes. Theodore would set the table. Amara would chatter about her dreams or what she wanted to do that day. Theodore's lawyer had made calls, and Nia got a job at City General Hospital. Night shift, which meant she could be there when Amara got home from school. Theodore adjusted his schedule to do the morning routine with Amara, and Nia would take over in the afternoons and evenings. They became co-parents without ever discussing it. They'd text each other about Amara's day, about her moods, about little things she said or did. Theodore would tell Nia if Amara seemed sad on the way to school. Nia would tell Theodore if Amara had nightmares. One night, about a month after Nia had arrived, Theodore came home late from a business dinner. It was almost 11. He was surprised to see a light on in his kitchen. Nia was sitting at his counter, a cup of tea in her hands. "Hey," Theodore said. "Everything okay? Where's Amara?" "Asleep downstairs. I just needed a few minutes alone. I hope it's okay that I came up." "Of course it's okay." Theodore hung up his coat. "Want company or should I leave you alone?" "Company would be nice." Theodore made himself tea and sat down across from her. They were quiet for a while. It was a comfortable quiet. Not awkward. "I've been thinking," Nia finally said. "About everything. About what you've done for us. And I realized I've never really asked you why. Not the surface reasons. The real reason. Why did you really take Amara home that night? Most people wouldn't have. Most rich guys definitely wouldn't have." Theodore thought about how to answer. "I was lonely," he said honestly. "I'd built this whole life. Money, success, respect. But I'd forgotten to build a life that meant something. I went home to an empty apartment every night. I had no one. And then I saw this little girl who had no one either. And I thought maybe we could both be less alone." Nia looked at him with those dark eyes. "And now? Now that I'm here and I'll eventually take her away. How do you feel about that?" "Scared," Theodore admitted. "I've gotten attached. I love her. I know she's not mine. I know she's your family. But I love her anyway. And the thought of not seeing her every day, of not being part of her life, that hurts. What if you could still be part of her life? Would you want that?" "Yes. Absolutely yes." Nia nodded slowly. "I've been watching you with her. The way you read to her every night. The way you listen when she talks about her day. The way you hold her when she cries. You're good for her. She needs you. She needs you. Maybe she needs both of us." Theodore looked at Nia. There was something in her voice. Something hopeful. "I've been thinking about the future," Nia continued. "About what happens when I save enough money to move out. About taking Amara away from this place, from you. And every time I think about it, I feel sick. Because she's happy here. She has stability. And not just because of the nice apartment or the school. Because of you. Because you care about her. I do care about her. So what if we just kept doing this? What if I stayed here in the guest house and we raised her together? Not legally, obviously. You're not her father and I'm not her mother. But practically, in day-to-day life, we could be her family. Both of us. Theodore's heart was beating fast. Are you sure? You want to stay? I want what's best for Amara. And I think what's best is having both of us in her life. Unless you don't want that. Unless you want us to leave. No, Theodore said quickly. I don't want you to leave. Either of you. Nia smiled. It was the first real smile Theodore had seen from her. Good. Then we'll stay. And maybe if you're interested I could start paying rent. Real rent. Contributing financially. You don't have to. I want to. I'm making decent money now. I can afford to pay something. It'll make me feel better. Like this is a real arrangement, not charity. If that's what you need, then okay. But Nia, this was never about money. I know. But it is about respect. And I want to feel like an equal partner in this, whatever this is. They talked for another hour working out details. How much rent Nia would pay. How they'd split expenses for Amara. How they'd handle school events and doctor's appointments and all the other little things that come with raising a child. By the time Nia went back downstairs they had a plan. A real plan for moving forward together. Theodore went to bed feeling lighter than he had in weeks. This could work. This strange, unexpected arrangement could actually work. The next morning at breakfast they told Amara that Nia would be staying. That they'd all be living together for a long time. Amara was so happy she cried. She hugged both of them at once, her little arms barely reaching around them both. We're a family now? Amara asked. Theodore looked at Nia. Nia looked at him. They both smiled. Yes, Nia said. We're a family now. Over the next month, that statement became true in ways Theodore hadn't expected. They started doing everything together. Weekend trips to the zoo. Movie nights where they'd all pile on the couch with popcorn. Game nights where Amara would beat them both at Candyland. Theodore found himself looking forward to coming home. His penthouse didn't feel empty anymore. There were signs of life everywhere. Amara's drawings on the refrigerator. Nia's coffee cup on the counter. Laughter echoing through the halls. And Nia. Theodore found himself thinking about her more and more. The way she laughed at Amara's jokes. The way she hummed while cooking dinner. The way she looked at him sometimes like she was trying to figure him out. One night, after Amara was asleep, Nia stayed upstairs to watch a movie with Theodore. They sat on opposite ends of the couch at first. But as the movie went on, they somehow ended up in the middle, sitting close together. When the movie ended, neither of them moved. They just sat there in the quiet. Theodore, Nia said softly, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you ever think about what happens next? After Amara grows up? After she doesn't need us as much anymore? Sometimes. Why? Because I do. And when I think about it, I don't want to go back to being alone. These last few months, living here, being part of something. It's made me realize how lonely I was before. Theodore turned to look at her. I know exactly what you mean. They were sitting very close now. Theodore could see the flecks of gold in Nia's brown eyes. He could smell her shampoo, something floral and sweet. Nia, I need to tell you something. I've been feeling things I probably shouldn't be feeling. Given the situation. Given that we're supposed to be co-parenting Amara. What kind of things? Nia's voice was barely a whisper. Things like wanting to see you every day. Looking forward to our late-night talks. Thinking about you when I'm at work. Caring about you not just because you're Amara's aunt, but because you're you. Nia didn't say anything for a moment. Theodore worried he'd said too much. Crossed a line. Ruined everything. Then Nia smiled. I've been feeling those things too. I didn't want to admit it. I told myself I was just grateful. That I was just being friendly. But it's more than that. I look at you and I see someone kind and patient and good. Someone who makes me laugh. Someone I want to spend time with. And that scares me. Why does it scare you? Because what if we try this, whatever this is, and it doesn't work? What happens to Amara then? What happens to this family we've built? Theodore understood her fear. He felt it too. But he also felt something stronger. Oh, what if it does work? He said. What if we're meant to be more than just Amara's caregivers? What if we're meant to be something for each other too? Nia looked at him for a long moment. Then she leaned in and kissed him. It was soft and gentle and full of all the things they'd both been feeling but not saying. When they pulled apart they were both smiling. We should probably take this slow, Nia said. For Amara's sake. Agreed. Very slow. They sat together on the couch, holding hands, both of them grinning like teenagers. Neither of them noticed the small figure watching from the hallway. Amara stood there in her pajamas, smiling. She'd gotten up for water and saw them together. Instead of interrupting, she just watched for a moment, happy that the two people she loved most were happy together. Then she went back to bed, content in the knowledge that her family was growing in all the right ways. The next few weeks were a careful dance. Theodore and Nia were exploring their feelings for each other while trying to keep everything normal for Amara. They didn't hold hands in front of her. They didn't kiss. They just spent time together as they always had, but now there was something new underneath. A warmth. A connection that made every interaction feel charged with possibility. Theodore couldn't remember the last time he'd felt this way about someone. Actually, he could. It had been his college girlfriend almost 20 years ago. Since then, he'd dated occasionally but never seriously. Work had always come first. Building his company had consumed all his time and energy. Now he found himself leaving the office early, turning down business dinners, rearranging meetings so he could be home for dinner with Nia and Amara. His assistant Patricia noticed the change. "You seem happy lately," she said one afternoon. "Different." "Different how?" "I don't know. Lighter. Like you're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders anymore." Theodore smiled. She was right. He did feel lighter. For the first time in years, he had something in his life besides work. Something that mattered more. At home, things were shifting in subtle ways. Nia started staying upstairs later after Amara went to bed. They'd sit on the couch and talk for hours. About everything. Their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Theodore told Nia about his parents, who died in a car accident when he was in his 20s. How he'd thrown himself into work to avoid dealing with the grief. How he'd built this successful life but forgotten to live in it. Nia told him about foster care. About being moved from home to home. About the families who were kind and the ones who weren't. About her sister Tasha, who'd been her protector and her best friend. "She would have liked you," Nia said one night. "Tasha. She always said I needed someone stable. Someone solid. She used to joke that I fell for the wrong guys because I was afraid of the right ones." "What kind of guys did you fall for?" "The exciting ones. The ones with big plans and no follow-through. The ones who made promises they never kept." She looked at Theodore. "You're different. When you promise something, you do it. When you commit, you're all in. That's rare. Is that a good thing?" "It's a very good thing." They were sitting close on the couch. Nia's head was resting on Theodore's shoulder. It felt natural. Like they'd been doing this for years instead of weeks. "Nia, I want to ask you something," Theodore said carefully. "Would you want to go on a real date with me? Just the two of us. Dinner somewhere nice. Like a proper first date." Nia lifted her head to look at him. "What about Amara? We said we'd take this slow for her sake. We'll get a babysitter. Someone Amara knows and trusts. Maybe that teenage girl from the 4th floor? She's babysat for other families in the building. Amara met her in the elevator last week and thought she was cool." "You've really thought this through." "I have. Because I want to do this right. I want to take you out. Show you that this is real. That you're not just Amara's aunt to me. You're someone special. Someone I want to get to know better." Nia smiled. "Okay. Yes. I'd like that." They went on their first date the following Saturday. The babysitter, a 16-year-old named Sophie, arrived at 6. Amara was excited to have a teenager hanging out with her. Sophie brought board games and movies. Amara barely noticed when Theodore and Nia left. Theodore took Nia to an Italian restaurant downtown. It was small and intimate, with candles on every table. They ordered wine and pasta and talked for 3 hours. It felt different than their conversations at home. More intentional. More like they were really seeing each other. "I have something to tell you," Nia said over dessert. "I've been saving money. Between my job and the rent I'm paying you, I'm putting away about $1,000 a month. In a year, I'll have enough for a down payment on a small house. Maybe something in the suburbs with a yard for Amara." Theodore felt his stomach drop. "You want to move out?" "I want to have options. I don't want to be dependent on you forever. I need to know I can stand on my own 2 feet. Does that make sense?" It did make sense. But Theodore didn't like it. The thought of Nia and Amara moving out, of not seeing them every day, made him feel panicked. "What if you didn't move out?" he said. "What if you stayed?" "Theodore, we can't live like this forever. You in your penthouse, me in the guest house. Eventually, Amara is going to ask questions. Eventually, we're going to have to figure out what this is. So let's figure it out. What do you want this to be?" Nia looked down at her wine glass. "I don't know. I like you. I really like you. But I'm scared. What if we try to be more and it ruins everything? What if Amara gets hurt? What if we don't try and we spend the rest of our lives wondering what if? That's not fair. You can't just say romantic things and expect me to stop being practical. I'm not asking you to stop being practical. I'm asking you to take a chance. On me. On us. Theodore reached across the table and took her hand. I know it's scary. I'm scared too. But I think we could be really good together. I think we already are. Nia squeezed his hand. Can we just take it one day at a time? See where it goes. One day at a time. I can do that. When they got home, Sophie reported that Amara had been perfect. They played games, watched a movie, and Amara had gone to bed without any problems. Theodore paid Sophie and walked her to the elevator. When he came back, Nia was still there. She was standing by the windows looking out at the city lights. Thank you for tonight, she said. It was perfect. Thank you for saying yes. They stood there for a moment just looking at each other. Then Nia kissed him. It was longer this time, deeper. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. I should go, Nia said. Before I do something we're not ready for. Theodore smiled. Good night, Nia. Good night, Theodore. After she left, Theodore cleaned up the apartment. He felt like he was floating. Everything was falling into place. His business was doing well. Amara was thriving. And now he had Nia. Maybe not completely, not yet. But they were building something. Something real. The next morning, Nia made a suggestion at breakfast. Theodore, I was thinking. I'm almost done with my nursing certification courses. Just one more class and I'll be fully certified. But there's a program at the community college, a bridge program, that would let me become a registered nurse. It's 2 years, mostly evening classes. That sounds great. You should do it. It's expensive. About $15,000 for the whole program. Theodore understood where this was going. Let me pay for it. Theodore. Please. Think of it as an investment. In your future. In Amara's future. You'll make more money as an RN. You'll have more flexibility with hours. You'll be able to provide better for Amara in the long run. I can't keep letting you pay for everything. Why not? I have the money. I want to help. And this isn't charity, Nia. This is me investing in someone I care about. Someone I believe in. Nia was quiet for a long moment. Amara was watching them, listening to every word. Okay, Nia finally said. But I'm paying you back. When I become an RN and start making better money, I'm paying back every cent you've spent on me. Deal. Later that week, Nia enrolled in the program. She was excited but nervous. It had been years since she'd been in school. But Theodore and Amara cheered her on. On her first day of class, they both gave her good luck cards. Amara's had a drawing of Nia wearing a nurse's hat. Theodore's had a simple message, I believe in you. The weeks turned into months. Fall became winter. The holidays approached. It would be Amara's first Thanksgiving and Christmas without her mother. Everyone was worried about how she'd handle it. The week of Thanksgiving, Amara started having nightmares again. She'd wake up crying, calling for her mother. Theodore or Nia would go to her, hold her, remind her that she was safe and loved. But it broke their hearts every time. She's grieving, Dr. Foster explained at their session. Holidays bring up memories. Feelings. This is normal. Just be there for her. Let her feel what she needs to feel. They decided to make new traditions. Traditions that were theirs, not ghosts of the past. On Thanksgiving they cooked together. All three of them. Theodore made the turkey even though he'd never cooked a turkey in his life. Nia made her grandmother's sweet potato pie. Amara helped make rolls from scratch, her little hands covered in flour. They ate at Theodore's big dining table. Just the three of them. Before they ate, they went around and said what they were thankful for. I'm thankful for Teddy, Amara said, because he found me when I was scared. And I'm thankful for Aunt Nia because she came back to be with me. And I'm thankful we're all together. I'm thankful for this beautiful little girl, Nia said, her voice thick with emotion. And for second chances. And for people who show up when you need them most. I'm thankful for both of you, Theodore said. For making my house a home. For making my life mean something. I didn't know what I was missing until I found you both. They held hands around the table and smiled at each other. A family. Not by blood but by choice. By love. After dinner they watched movies and played games. Amara fell asleep on the couch between Theodore and Nia. They both looked down at her peaceful face. She's doing okay, Nia whispered. We're doing okay. Better than okay, Theodore whispered back. That night after they'd put Amara to bed, Nia stayed upstairs again. They were sitting on the couch, close together. "I need to tell you something," Nia said. "Something I've been thinking about for a while now." "What is it?" "I love you. I didn't want to. I tried not to. But I do." "I love you, Theodore Harrison." Theodore felt his heart expand. "I love you too. I think I've loved you since the first time I saw you standing at my door, crying and fierce and ready to fight for Amara. You're the strongest person I know." "I don't feel strong." "You are. You're raising your sister's child while going to school and working full-time. You're building a new life from nothing. You're letting yourself trust again after being let down so many times. That's not just strong. That's incredible." Nia kissed him. They stayed on that couch for hours, talking and kissing and planning their future. They didn't know what that future looked like exactly, but they knew they wanted to build it together. When Nia finally went downstairs, Theodore sat alone in his living room. He looked around at the space that had once felt so empty. Now it was full of life, full of love, full of everything he'd been missing for so long. He thought about that night in the parking lot, about finding Amara crying beside her mother's car, about the decision he'd made to help her, to take her home, to become her father. That decision had changed everything. It had brought Nia into his life. It had given him a family. It had given him purpose and meaning and joy. Sometimes, Theodore thought, the best things in life come from the hardest moments. From choosing to stop when everyone else walks past. From choosing love when it would be easier to choose loneliness. He went to bed that night grateful for every choice that had led him here. And excited for every choice that was still to come. December arrived with the first snow. Amara pressed her face against the window, watching the flakes fall. She'd never really had the chance to play in snow before. Her mother had been too sick last winter to take her outside much. "Can we go out?" Amara asked at breakfast. "Can we build a snowman?" Theodore looked at Nia. Nia smiled and nodded. "After school," Theodore promised. "We'll all go to the park and build the biggest snowman you've ever seen." That afternoon they bundled up in winter coats and boots. Theodore had bought Amara a blue puffy coat that made her look like a little marshmallow. She loved it. They went to the park near the building and spent 2 hours in the snow. Amara had never been so happy. She made snow angels. She caught snowflakes on her tongue. Theodore and Nia helped her roll the snowballs for the snowman. They used rocks for eyes, a carrot for a nose, and an old scarf Theodore had in his closet. At one point, Amara threw a snowball at Theodore. He pretended to be mortally wounded, falling into a snowbank. Amara laughed so hard she couldn't breathe. Then Nia joined in and soon they were having an all-out snowball fight. The three of them against no one, just throwing snow and laughing. When they finally went home they were soaked and freezing. Theodore made hot chocolate while Nia helped Amara into dry clothes. They all ended up on the couch under blankets, drinking cocoa and watching the snow fall outside the windows. "This is the best day ever," Amara announced. "Better than the museum?" Theodore teased. "Better than everything." Nia looked at Theodore over Amara's head. Her eyes said what her mouth couldn't with Amara right there. "I love this. I love you. I love our life." Theodore mouthed back, "Me too." As Christmas approached, they faced another challenge. What kind of celebration should they have? Amara was still dealing with the loss of her mother. But she was also a 7-year-old girl who believed in Santa Claus and magic. "We should make it special," Nia said one night after Amara was asleep. "She deserves to have good memories of this Christmas. Not just sad ones." "What did you and Tasha usually do?" "Not much. Tasha couldn't afford big celebrations. They'd get a small tree. Exchange one present each. Watch Christmas movies together. It was simple but nice." "What if we go bigger this year?" "Not crazy. But special. A real tree. Decorations. Presents. The whole thing." "Theodore, you don't have to." "I want to. Please. Let me do this for her. For both of you." Nia thought about it. Then she nodded. "Okay. But I'm helping pay for presents. And I'm cooking Christmas dinner. Deal." The next Saturday they took Amara to pick out a Christmas tree. She chose one that was way too big for Theodore's living room. But they got it anyway. They spent the afternoon decorating it with lights and ornaments. Theodore had bought way too many decorations. Every store they went to, he'd see something he thought Amara would like and buy it. "You're spoiling her," Nia said, but she was smiling. "Is that so wrong?" "No. It's actually really sweet." Amara hung ornaments while singing Christmas songs off-key. She was in her element. Happy and excited and looking forward instead of back. It was exactly what they'd hoped for. That night they watched Christmas movies together. Amara sat between Theodore and Nia, holding both their hands. Halfway through the second movie she fell asleep. Theodore carried her to bed while Nia cleaned up the popcorn and cocoa mugs. When Theodore came back, Nia was standing by the Christmas tree. The lights made her skin glow. She was wearing jeans and a green sweater. Her hair was loose around her shoulders. Theodore thought she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "About how much my life has changed in 6 months. In March I was working in Dubai, alone, sending money home to Tasha. I thought I'd be there for another year at least. Then I got the call that Tasha was gone. I flew home thinking my life was over, that I'd lost everything. But instead I found this. Mara. A real home. A real family." Theodore walked over and wrapped his arms around her from behind. They stood there looking at the tree together. "I never believed in fate," Nia continued. "Growing up the way I did, it seemed like everything was random. Bad things happened for no reason. Good things never lasted. But now I wonder. Because how else do you explain all of this? You finding Amara that night. Me coming here. Us falling in love. It feels like it was meant to be." "Maybe it was," Theodore said. "Maybe some things are just meant to happen." Nia turned in his arms to face him. "Theodore, I need to ask you something. And I need you to be honest with me. Always. What do you see when you look at the future? When you think about where this is going?" Theodore knew what she was really asking. Where was their relationship headed? What did he want long-term? "I see us," he said simply. "I see Amara growing up here. I see you finishing nursing school and getting your dream job. I see us having dinners together and holidays together and all the normal things that families do. I see growing old with you. Maybe having more kids someday if that's something you want. I see forever." "You want forever with me?" "Yes. Absolutely yes. Do you want that too?" Nia kissed him instead of answering. But the kiss said everything. "Yes. Forever. Always." They stood there by the Christmas tree holding each other, both of them feeling like they'd found something they'd been searching for their whole lives. Belonging. Home. The weeks leading up to Christmas were busy. Nia had finals for her first semester of nursing school. Theodore had year-end business to finish. Amara had a holiday concert at school where she sang carols with her first-grade class. They all went together and sat in the front row, beaming with pride. Theodore watched Amara up on stage in her red dress, singing with all her heart. He thought about how far she'd come. How broken she'd been that first night. How slowly she'd started to heal. How happy she was now. He'd done that. Him and Nia together. They'd taken a traumatized little girl and given her stability and love and hope. After the concert they got ice cream even though it was freezing outside. Amara got chocolate chip with sprinkles. She sat between Theodore and Nia at the ice cream shop, swinging her legs and talking about the concert. "Did you see me?" she asked. "Did you see me singing?" "We saw you," Nia said. "You were the best one up there." "Really?" "Really," Theodore agreed. "You were amazing." Amara grinned, chocolate ice cream on her face. "I love you guys. Both of you. So much." "We love you too, sweetheart," Nia said. That night, after Amara was in bed, Theodore brought up something he'd been thinking about. He and Nia were in his living room, sitting on the couch as usual. "Nia, I want to talk about something important." "Okay. What is it?" "I want to officially adopt Amara. Make it legal. Make her my daughter in every way, not just emotionally." Nia was quiet for a long moment. "Theodore, she has me. She has family. You don't have to adopt her." "I know I don't have to. I want to. I want her to know that I'm committed to her for life. That I'm not going anywhere. That she'll always have me no matter what." "What about me? Where does that leave me legally?" "I'm her aunt. Her legal guardian right now. You could still be her guardian. Or we could share custody. Or..." Theodore hesitated. "Or we could make this official in another way." "What do you mean?" Theodore took Nia's hand. "I mean, what if we got married? Then we'd both be her legal parents. We'd be a real family in every way." Nia's eyes went wide. "Theodore, did you just propose to me?" "Not officially. I don't have a ring. I didn't plan this out. But yes, I guess I did." "Nia Washington, will you marry me?" Nia started laughing and crying at the same time. "You're crazy. We've only been together for a few months. So, when you know, you know. I knew the first time I saw you standing at my door. I knew when you sat beside Amara's bed crying. I knew when we built that snowman. I knew when we decorated the Christmas tree. I know right now. I love you. I want to marry you. I want to build a life with you." "What about Amara? Shouldn't we ask her how she feels about all this?" "Absolutely. We'll talk to her together. But Nia, I need to know how you feel first. Do you want this? Do you want to marry me? Nia looked at him with tears streaming down her face. Yes. Yes, I want to marry you. I want to be your wife. I want us to be Amara's parents. I want all of it. Theodore pulled her into his arms and kissed her. They held each other for a long time, both of them crying happy tears. We should wait until after Christmas to tell Amara, Nia said. Let her have the holiday first. Then we'll sit down with her and talk about it properly. Good idea. But I'm buying you a ring tomorrow. You don't have to get anything expensive. I'm getting you whatever ring you deserve. Which is the best ring in the world. Nia laughed. You're impossible. You love me anyway. I really do. They stayed up late that night, talking about wedding plans and adoption procedures and all the logistics of combining their lives officially. But mostly they just held each other, amazed at how much their lives had changed in such a short time. Theodore thought about that parking lot again. About finding Amara. About making the choice to help her instead of walking past. That choice had led him here. To this moment. To this woman. To this family. Sometimes the biggest moments in life don't feel big when they're happening. Sometimes they feel small and quiet. Like stopping in a parking lot. Like holding a crying child's hand. Like promising to be there. But those small moments grow. They bloom into something bigger than you ever imagined. They become love and family and home. Theodore fell asleep that night with Nia in his arms, grateful for every small moment that had led him here. And excited for all the big moments still to come. Christmas morning arrived bright and clear. Amara woke up at 6 and immediately ran to Theodore's room. She burst through the door, jumping on his bed. Teddy, wake up. Santa came. I heard him last night. I heard sleigh bells and everything. Theodore sat up, rubbing his eyes. You heard sleigh bells? Yes. Come on, we have to go see what he brought. They went to wake up Nia, who was sleeping in the guest house. Amara pounded on the door until Nia answered, sleepy and disheveled in her pajamas. Merry Christmas, Aunt Nia. Santa came. We have to open presents right now. The three of them went upstairs to Theodore's penthouse. Amara gasped when she saw the tree. The pile of presents underneath it had doubled from the night before. Theodore and Nia had stayed up late putting everything out after Amara went to sleep. There's so many, Amara breathed. Are they all for me? Most of them, Theodore said. Some are for your aunt. And a few are for me. They spent the next hour opening presents. Amara got books and toys and games and clothes. She got a bike for when spring came. She got art supplies and stuffed animals and a child's camera. With each gift, she'd squeal with delight and hug whoever gave it to her. Nia opened her presents too. Theodore had gotten her jewelry, nice clothes for work, and gift certificates for things she'd mentioned wanting. But the present that made her cry was a simple frame. Inside was a photo Theodore had taken secretly of Nia and Amara making cookies together. They were both laughing, flour on their faces, looking at each other with pure love. This is perfect, Nia whispered. Thank you. Theodore's presents were mostly from Amara. She'd made him cards and drawings at school. One was a picture of the three of them holding hands with a house and a son. At the top, she'd written in crayon, my family. But Nia had gotten Theodore something too. A watch. Nothing too expensive because she didn't have that kind of money. But it was nice and practical and she'd had it engraved on the back. It said, time well spent. Love. I love it, Theodore said, putting it on immediately. Thank you. After presents they made breakfast together. Pancakes with chocolate chips, Amara's favorite. Then they spent the day in their pajamas, playing with Amara's new toys and watching Christmas movies. That evening, Nia cooked a small Christmas dinner. Just turkey and sides, nothing fancy. They ate at Theodore's table, the three of them holding hands and saying what they were grateful for again. I'm grateful for Santa, Amara said. And for this family. And for everything. After dinner, after Amara had gone to bed exhausted and happy, Theodore and Nia sat on the couch. Theodore pulled out a small box from his pocket. I know we said we'd wait to talk to Amara, Theodore said. But I got this today and I couldn't wait any longer. Nia, I love you. Will you marry me? For real this time, with a ring and everything? He opened the box. Inside was a beautiful diamond ring. Simple but elegant. Exactly Nia's style. Nia's hands went to her mouth. Theodore, oh my God. It's beautiful. So is that a yes? Yes. Yes, of course yes. Theodore slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. Nia stared at it, tears running down her face. I can't believe this is my life now, she said. I can't believe I get to marry you. That we get to be a family. Believe it? This is real. This is forever. They decided to tell Amara the next day. but they wanted to do it right. They wanted her to be part of this decision, not just told about it after the fact. The next morning they made Amara pancakes again. Then they all sat down in the living room. Amara could tell something was up. She kept looking between them. "What's going on?" she asked. "Am I in trouble?" "No, sweetheart," Nia said. "You're not in trouble. We just need to talk to you about something important. Something that affects all of us." Theodore took a deep breath. "Amara, you know how much we both love you, right?" "Yes." "And you know how we've all been living together for the last few months and it's been really nice?" "Yes." "I love living with both of you. Well, your Aunt Nia and I have been talking. And we love each other very much. And we want to make our family official. I asked your Aunt Nia to marry me and she said yes." Amara's eyes went huge. "You're getting married?" "Yes," Nia said. "If that's okay with you. That means Teddy will be my uncle?" Theodore smiled. "Well, actually, I was hoping I could be more than that. If you want, I'd like to adopt you. Make you my daughter officially. That means your Aunt Nia and I would both be your parents. Would that be okay with you?" Amara was quiet for a long moment. They could see her thinking, processing. "What about my mama?" she finally asked. "If you adopt me, does that mean I'm not her daughter anymore?" Nia pulled Amara into her lap. "No, baby. You'll always be your mama's daughter. Always. Nothing can change that. Your mama loved you so much. And she would be so happy that you have people who love you and want to take care of you. This doesn't replace her. This just means you have more people who love you. Me and Teddy together taking care of you forever." "Forever." "Forever," Theodore confirmed. "I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me for life." Amara looked at both of them. Then a huge smile spread across her face. "So we'll really be a family? Like a real family?" "We're already a real family," Nia said. "But yes, this will make it official." Amara threw her arms around both of them. "Yes. Yes, I want that. I want Teddy to be my daddy. And I want you to get married. And I want us to be together forever." Theodore felt tears running down his face. He didn't even try to hide them. This moment, this perfect moment, was everything he'd wanted without knowing he wanted it. Over the next few weeks they started planning. The wedding would be small. Just close friends and Amara. They'd do it in the spring, giving them time to get everything organized and for Theodore's adoption of Amara to be processed. Theodore hired a lawyer to handle the adoption paperwork. It was more complicated than he'd expected. There were home visits and background checks and interviews. But everyone could see that Amara was thriving. That she was happy and healthy and loved. Nia also had to sign papers, agreeing to share custody with Theodore. She did it gladly. They were in this together. Team. At the same time, Nia was finishing her first year of nursing school. She was at the top of her class. Her professors loved her. She'd found her calling. Theodore was so proud of her he could burst. One day in February, Theodore came home from work to find Nia and Amara making dinner together. They were dancing around the kitchen to music, laughing and singing. He stood in the doorway just watching them. This was his life now. Coming home to laughter and music. To people who loved him. To a little girl who called him daddy and a woman who wore his ring. To family. Daddy, Amara called when she saw him. She'd started calling him that after Christmas. Every time she said it, Theodore's heart grew. "We're making spaghetti. Your favorite." "My favorite," Theodore agreed, walking in to hug her. Then he kissed Nia. "How was your day?" "Good. I aced my pharmacology exam. And Amara got 100 on her spelling test. Both my girls are geniuses." They ate dinner together talking about their days. After dinner, Theodore helped Amara with her homework while Nia studied. Later they watched a movie together before bed. It was normal and perfect and exactly what Theodore had been missing his whole life. That night, after Amara was asleep, Theodore and Nia sat on their couch. Nia had her head on his shoulder. "I need to tell you something," Theodore said. "Something I've been thinking about." "What?" "I want to cut back on work. Not quit but delegate more. Spend more time at home. With you and Amara. I've spent my whole life building a company but I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss her growing up. I don't want to miss us." Nia lifted her head to look at him. "You do that?" "Yes. Work used to be everything to me. Now it's just work. You and Amara, you're everything. I want to be here for all of it. The school plays and the parent-teacher conferences and the ordinary Tuesday nights. All of it. Theodore Harrison, you continue to surprise me. Is that a good thing?" "It's the best thing." They stayed up late talking about the future. About the wedding. About Amara's adoption. About Nia's nursing career. About maybe having more children someday. About growing old together. I never thought I'd have this, Nia said. A real partner. Someone who shows up. Someone who stays. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? I promise. You're stuck with me forever. Nia smiled. Forever sounds perfect. In March, the adoption went through. Theodore was officially Amara's father. They had a small celebration at home. Just the three of them and a cake that said, "Welcome to our family officially." Amara was thrilled. She kept saying, "My daddy," over and over like she was testing out the words. Like she couldn't believe they were real. That night, Theodore tucked her into bed as always. But this time felt different. This time it was official. She was his daughter. Forever. Daddy? Amara said as he was turning off the light. Yes, sweetheart. I'm glad you found me that night. In the parking lot. I'm glad you stopped. Theodore's throat felt tight. Me too, baby girl. Me too. Do you think Mama knows? Do you think she knows I'm okay? I think she knows. And I think she's happy. Because you're loved and safe and exactly where you're supposed to be. Amara smiled and closed her eyes. Theodore watched her for a moment, this little girl who'd changed his entire life. Then he kissed her forehead and left the room. In the hallway he found Nia waiting. She'd heard the conversation. She was crying. She's going to be okay, Nia said. We're all going to be okay. Better than okay. We're going to be happy. They held each other in the hallway, both of them grateful for the family they'd built. For the love they'd found in the most unexpected way. For the future that stretched out before them, full of promise and hope. The wedding was 6 weeks away. Everything was falling into place. And for the first time in his life, Theodore felt complete. In early April, 3 weeks before the wedding, something unexpected happened. Theodore got a call from his business partner, Gerald Mitchell. They needed to meet. It was urgent. Theodore met Gerald at their office downtown. Gerald looked uncomfortable. What's going on? Theodore asked. Gerald sighed. I'm going to be direct. The board is concerned about your recent decisions. What decisions? The adoption. The sudden engagement. The fact that you've cut your hours by almost 40%. Theodore, you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. People are starting to talk. Theodore felt his jaw tighten. Talk about what? About whether you're still committed to the company. About whether this sudden family situation has distracted you. Some of the board members think you're making impulsive decisions. Impulsive? I've never been more certain about anything in my life. I'm not questioning your personal choices. But from a business perspective, you have to understand how this looks. You find a random child, take her home, then start a relationship with her aunt, and now you're getting married and adopting. All in less than 6 months. It's fast, Theodore. So what are you saying? I'm saying the board wants reassurance. They want to know you're still focused on the company. They're considering asking you to step back from day-to-day operations. Take more of an advisory role. Theodore stood up. Let me get this straight. Because I chose to have a personal life, because I chose to be a father and a husband, the board thinks I can't do my job. They think your priorities have shifted. They have shifted. My priorities now include my family. But that doesn't mean I can't still run this company. I've built this place from the ground up. I've never missed a deadline or lost a client. The company is more profitable this year than it's ever been. I know that. And I'm on your side. But you need to come to the board meeting next week prepared to defend your choices. Theodore left the office angry. He'd given his whole life to that company. Now, because he'd found something more important, they questioned his commitment? When he got home, Nia knew immediately that something was wrong. What happened? Theodore told her everything. Nia listened, her face growing more upset as he talked. They can't do that, she said. They can't punish you for having a family. They can question whether I'm the right person to lead the company anymore. This is my fault. If I hadn't come here, if we hadn't fallen in love, you wouldn't be dealing with this. Stop. Don't say that. This is not your fault. This is them being narrow-minded. I don't regret any of it. Not 1 second. But over the next few days the situation got worse. Theodore started getting calls from board members. Some were supportive. Others were clearly concerned. The business partners who'd been with him from the beginning were confused by his sudden life changes. Then, a week before the wedding, another problem emerged. Mrs. Cole, the social worker, called. She needed to do another home visit. There had been a complaint. A complaint? Theodore asked. From who? I can't tell you that. But someone reported concerns about Amara's living situation. About the speed of your relationship with Ms. Washington. About whether this is a stable environment for a child. Who would report that? I don't know. But I have to investigate. I'll be there tomorrow at 2, Theodore told Nia. She went pale. Someone is trying to sabotage us, Nia said. Someone who doesn't want us to be together. We don't know that. What else could it be? The timing is too convenient. Right before the wedding. Right when the adoption is being finalized. The next day Mrs. Cole arrived exactly at 2. She wanted to talk to Amara alone first. Theodore and Nia waited in the kitchen, holding hands, both of them terrified. After 30 minutes, Mrs. Cole came to find them. Her face was neutral, giving nothing away. Amara seems happy, Mrs. Cole said. She told me about school, about her friends, about your daily routine. She said she feels safe and loved here. She is safe and loved, Nia said. We would never hurt her. I believe that. But I have to ask some difficult questions now. About your relationship. How long have you two been involved romantically? Since early November, Theodore said. About 5 months. And you're getting married next week? Yes. That's very fast. Can you explain why the rush? Theodore looked at Nia. Then back at Mrs. Cole. Because we love each other. Because we want to be a family officially. There's no rush. There's just certainty. And the adoption? Mr. Harrison, you went from being a bachelor with no children to adopting a 7-year-old in less than 6 months. That's highly unusual. I understand how it looks. But everything I've done because I love Amara. Because I want to be her father. Not temporarily. Forever. Mrs. Cole wrote notes on her clipboard. Ms. Washington, can you tell me about your financial situation? Are you dependent on Mr. Harrison? Nia sat up straighter. I work full-time as a nursing assistant. I'm also in school to become an RN. I pay rent to Theodore for the guest house where Amara and I live. I contribute to household expenses. Yes, Theodore has helped me financially, but I'm not dependent on him. I'm building my own career. But if your relationship with Mr. Harrison ended, where would you and Amara go? That's not going to happen. But hypothetically? I have savings. I could afford an apartment, at least temporarily. I have family in other states who would help us if needed. Amara would not be in danger or without a home if Theodore and I broke up. But we're not breaking up. We're getting married. Mrs. Cole asked more questions. About their daily routine. About Amara's school performance. About her therapy sessions with Dr. Foster. About how they handled discipline and homework and bedtime. After 2 hours, Mrs. Cole finally closed her notebook. I'll be honest with you both. This complaint was concerning. The person who filed it suggested that this relationship might be more about money than love. That Ms. Washington might be taking advantage of Mr. Harrison's wealth. That Amara might be being used as a pawn. That's not true, Nia said, her voice shaking. None of that is true. I love Theodore. I loved him before I knew how much money he had. And Amara is not a pawn. She's my niece. She's my whole world. I believe you, Mrs. Cole said. I've been watching this family for 6 months now. I've seen the progress Amara has made. I've seen how you interact with each other. This is clearly a loving, stable home. Whoever filed this complaint either has misinformation or has ulterior motives. I'm closing the investigation. There's no evidence of anything inappropriate. Theodore and Nia both let out huge breaths of relief. However, Mrs. Cole continued, I would like to do check-ins every month for the next 6 months. Just to ensure continued stability. Is that acceptable? Yes, Theodore said. Whatever you need. After Mrs. Cole left, Theodore and Nia collapsed on the couch. They were both shaking. Someone tried to take her away from us, Nia said. Someone actually tried to break up our family. But they didn't succeed. We're okay. Amara is okay. Who would do this? Theodore had an idea. But he didn't want to say it out loud. Not yet. The next day he did some digging. He called his assistant Patricia and asked her to look into who might have contacted child services. It took her 2 days, but she found out. The complaint had been filed by Gerald's wife, Rebecca Mitchell. Theodore confronted Gerald the next morning. Your wife tried to have my daughter taken away. Gerald looked sick. Theodore, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know she'd do that. Why would she do that? She thinks you've lost your mind. She thinks this woman is taking advantage of you. She was trying to, I don't know, protect you or the company or something. She was wrong. I'll talk to her. You do that. And Gerald, I need to be clear. I'm not stepping back from the company. I'm not letting anyone question my commitment. But my family comes first now. If the board can't accept that, I'll find a board that can. Theodore went to the board meeting prepared to fight. But he didn't have to. Several board members spoke up in his support. They pointed out that his work quality hadn't declined, that the company was thriving, that everyone deserved to have a personal life. By the end of the meeting it was decided. Theodore would remain CEO. No changes. And Rebecca Mitchell was asked to resign from the company's charitable board for her inappropriate actions. When Theodore got home that night, he found Nia and Amara making dinner. They both looked up when he came in. "How did it go?" Nia asked. "I still have my job. The adoption stands. We're okay." Amara ran over and hugged him. "I knew you'd fix it, Daddy." Theodore hugged her back, his eyes closing. They'd weathered the storm. Someone had tried to break them apart and they'd stood firm. Together. That night, after Amara went to bed, Theodore and Nia talked. "This is going to keep happening," Nia said. "People are going to judge us. Question us. Think I'm a gold digger or that you're having a midlife crisis. Let them think whatever they want. I know the truth. You know the truth. That's all that matters." "Is it enough?" "It's more than enough. Nia, look at me. I love you. I'm marrying you in 4 days. No one can stop that. No one can take this away from us unless we let them." Nia leaned into him. "I'm scared. So am I. But we're scared together. And that makes us stronger." They held each other, both of them realizing that love wasn't always easy. That choosing family meant fighting for it sometimes. That the best things in life were worth protecting. The next few days passed in a blur of final wedding preparations. But underneath the excitement, they were both more determined than ever. They'd almost lost everything. Now they were going to hold on tight and never let go. The wedding day arrived on a beautiful Saturday in mid-April. Theodore woke up in his penthouse alone. Nia had spent the night before at a hotel with Amara. Wedding tradition, she'd said. They weren't supposed to see each other until the ceremony. Theodore looked out his windows at the city. 1 year ago he'd been alone. Content with his loneliness. Convinced that work was enough. Now he was getting married. Becoming a father. Building a family. His phone buzzed. A text from Nia. "Good morning, future husband. Can't wait to marry you today." Theodore smiled and texted back, counting the minutes. The wedding was at 3 in the afternoon. Small and intimate, just like they'd planned. They'd rented a private room at a nice restaurant. 20 guests total. Theodore's business partners who supported him. Some of Nia's nursing school friends. Dr. Foster, who'd helped Amara so much. Patricia, Theodore's assistant, who'd become a friend. And Amara, of course, who would serve as flower girl. Theodore spent the morning getting ready. He wore a navy suit with a blue tie. Nothing too formal. This was a celebration, not a corporate event. At 2:30 he arrived at the restaurant. The room looked beautiful. Simple white flowers everywhere. Candles on the tables. Soft music playing. It was perfect. The guests arrived and took their seats. Then the music changed. Everyone stood. Amara came down the aisle first. She wore a red dress with a full skirt. Her hair was done in 2 braids with flowers woven in. She carried a basket of rose petals and scattered them carefully, her face serious with concentration. When she got to the front, she stood next to Theodore and grinned up at him. "You look beautiful," Theodore whispered. "You look handsome, Daddy." Then Nia appeared. Theodore's breath caught. She wore a simple green dress that flowed to the floor. Her hair was down in natural curls. She wasn't wearing a veil or carrying a huge bouquet. Just a small bunch of white roses. She looked like herself. Beautiful and real and perfect. She walked down the aisle alone. No one to give her away. She was giving herself freely and completely. When she reached Theodore, she handed her flowers to Amara. Then she took both of Theodore's hands. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," Theodore whispered back. The ceremony was short. They'd written their own vows. Theodore went first. "Nia, 6 months ago I thought I had everything. Money, success, a good life. But I was wrong. I had nothing that mattered. Then I found Amara, and through her, I found you. You've shown me what it means to be brave. To be strong. To love completely even when you're scared. You've made me want to be better. To be worthy of you and Amara. Today I promise to stand by you. To support your dreams. To be your partner in everything. I promise to love you, to honor you, and to choose you every single day for the rest of my life." Nia was crying. She wiped her eyes and took a shaky breath. "Theodore, I came into your life angry and defensive. I thought you were too good to be true. That there had to be a catch. But you proved me wrong. You showed me that good men exist. That love can be kind and stable and real. You took care of my niece when everyone else walked past. You loved her like your own. And somehow you made space in your heart for me too. Today I promise to be your partner. To support you. To challenge you when you need it and comfort you when you hurt. I promise to build this family with you. To raise Amara together. To face whatever comes our way side by side. I choose you, Theodore Harrison. Today and always. The officiant pronounced them husband and wife. Theodore kissed Nia while everyone cheered. Amara jumped up and down, clapping. After the ceremony they had dinner. The food was delicious. The speeches were touching. Theodore's business partner James gave a toast about how love changes people for the better. One of Nia's friends from nursing school talked about how she'd never seen Nia so happy. Then it was Amara's turn. She stood up with a piece of paper in her hand. Theodore and Nia had no idea she'd prepared something. I wrote a poem, Amara announced. For my aunt and my daddy. She cleared her throat and read. I was sad when my mama died. I thought I'd be alone. But then Teddy found me. And Aunt Nia came home. Now we're a family. All three together. I have two people who love me. Now and forever. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Nia was sobbing. Theodore pulled Amara into a hug. That was beautiful, sweetheart, he said. I practiced with Dr. Foster, Amara said proudly. After dinner they cut the cake. Fed each other pieces while Amara giggled. Danced to slow songs while Amara twirled around them. It was perfect. Simple and perfect in everything they'd wanted. As the evening wound down, Theodore found himself standing outside on the restaurant's patio. He needed a minute to process everything. Nia came to find him. You okay? She asked, wrapping her arms around him from behind. Better than okay. I'm married to you. You are. How does it feel? Surreal. Perfect. Right. Theodore turned to face her. Thank you for saying yes. For taking a chance on me. Thank you for finding Amara. For being the kind of man who stops when others walk past. For being exactly who I needed. They kissed under the stars, both of them feeling like they'd found their forever. Have you ever met someone and just known they were meant to be in your life? Someone who changed everything in the best possible way? Share your own love story in the comments, and subscribe to see what happens next in this family's journey. The reception ended at 9. Theodore, Nia, and Amara went back to the penthouse together. They decided not to go on a honeymoon right away. They wanted to be together as a new family first. They'd travel in the summer, all three of them. That night, they tucked Amara into bed together. Both of them as her parents. Today was the best day ever, Amara said. Are you going to live with us now, Aunt Nia? In the upstairs apartment. Nia looked at Theodore. They'd been talking about this. About combining their homes. Making it official. Yes, Nia said. I'm moving upstairs. We're all going to live together now. Is that okay with you? It's more than okay. It's perfect. They read her a story and turned out the light. Then they went to Theodore's room, which was now their room. Nia's clothes had been moved in while they were at the wedding. Her toothbrush was in the bathroom. Her books on the nightstand. Her shoes in the closet. This is real, Nia said, looking around. We're really married. We're really a family. We're really a family, Theodore confirmed. They spent their wedding night talking and laughing and making plans. They talked about Nia's nursing career. About Theodore cutting back even more on work. About maybe having another baby in a few years. About growing old together. I want more kids, Nia said. Is that okay? I want Amara to have siblings. I want that too. Not right away. But yes, I want more kids with you. Really? You'd go through diapers and sleepless nights and all of that? With you? Absolutely. I missed out on Amara's baby years. I'd love to experience that. To have a baby with you. Nia kissed him. You're going to be such a good dad to all our kids. All? How many are we talking? I don't know. Let's start with one more and see how we feel. They fell asleep in each other's arms, both of them happier than they'd ever been. The next morning they woke up to Amara climbing into bed between them. Good morning, family, she announced. Theodore laughed. Good morning, sweetheart. What are you doing up so early? I wanted to make sure you were still here. That yesterday really happened. It really happened, Nia said, pulling Amara close. We're married now. We're officially a family. Forever. Forever and ever. They spent the day together. Just the three of them. They made pancakes for breakfast, played games, watched movies, did absolutely nothing productive or important. They just existed together as a family. That evening as they were making dinner, the doorbell rang. Theodore went to answer it. A courier stood there with an envelope. Mr. Theodore Harrison? Yes. This is for you. It requires a signature. Theodore signed and took the envelope. It was thick and official-looking. He opened it while walking back to the kitchen. Inside was a legal document. And as Theodore read it, his blood ran cold. "What is it?" Nia asked, seeing his face. Theodore looked up at her. "It's a petition. Someone is trying to challenge the adoption. They're claiming I'm not fit to be Amara's father. They're asking for custody to be reviewed." "What? Who would do that?" Theodore looked at the signature at the bottom of the document. His hands were shaking. "Gerald Mitchell. My business partner. Apparently he and his wife aren't done trying to break us apart." The next few days were tense. Theodore immediately called his lawyer. They had a meeting on Tuesday morning to discuss the petition. "This is ridiculous," the lawyer said. Her name was Jennifer Cho, and she'd handled all of Theodore's adoption paperwork. "They have no grounds. The adoption was approved. You've been Amara's legal father for weeks. They can't just challenge it because they don't like your personal life." "But they're trying." "Yes, and we'll fight it. But Theodore, you need to understand what this means. There will be a hearing. Gerald and his wife will have to present evidence of why you shouldn't be Amara's father. It could get ugly. Let it get ugly. I'm not giving up my daughter." Theodore went home and told Nia everything. She was furious. "How dare they? How dare they try to take Amara away from us? She's happy. She's thriving. What more do they want? They want me to go back to being the workaholic bachelor I was before. They want me to put the company first again. That's not happening." "No, it's not." They decided not to tell Amara about the petition. No need to scare her when they were confident they'd win. But it cast a shadow over their first week of marriage. Instead of celebrating, they were preparing for a fight. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. In the meantime, Jennifer advised them to document everything. Photos of Amara at school, at home, with her friends. Report cards showing her good grades. Letters from Dr. Foster about her progress in therapy. Letters from her teacher. Anything that showed she was in a loving, stable home. Theodore threw himself into gathering evidence. He got letters from neighbors. From other parents at Amara's school. From his own employees who'd met Amara when she visited the office. Everyone said the same thing. Theodore was a good father. Amara was a happy child. They were clearly a loving family. 1 week before the hearing, something unexpected happened. Theodore got a call from Gerald. "Can we meet?" Gerald asked. "Just the two of us. I need to talk to you." Theodore agreed. They met at a coffee shop. Gerald looked terrible. Like he hadn't slept in days. "I'm dropping the petition," Gerald said immediately. "I'm withdrawing it." Theodore stared at him. "What? Why?" "Because Rebecca and I have been fighting nonstop since I filed it. She convinced me to do it, said it was for the company's good. But I've been watching you, Theodore. Really watching. And you're happier than I've ever seen you. You're still doing great work. You're just also being a father and a husband. And there's nothing wrong with that. So why did you let her talk you into this?" "Because I was scared. We've built this company together for 15 years. I thought if you changed, if you became someone different, everything would fall apart. But I was wrong. You're not different. You're just more complete. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for questioning you. I'm sorry for trying to hurt your family." Theodore didn't know what to say. He'd been so angry at Gerald. But now, looking at his friend's genuinely apologetic face, he felt that anger fade. "Is Rebecca sorry too?" "She's getting there. I made her write a letter to the social worker, explaining that her complaint was based on misunderstanding and jealousy. I also made her resign from all her volunteer positions at the company. She crossed a line and she knows it. Gerald, I appreciate this. But I need to know. Are we okay? Can we work together again?" "I hope so. You're not just my business partner, Theodore. You're my friend. I don't want to lose that." They shook hands. Theodore felt relieved. The petition would be withdrawn. The hearing would be canceled. They could move on. When Theodore got home, he found Nia studying at the kitchen table. Her finals were coming up. She'd been stressed trying to balance school, work, and the upcoming hearing. "I have good news," Theodore said. "Gerald is dropping the petition. It's over." Nia looked up, her eyes wide. "Really? Really?" He apologized. "It's done." Nia burst into tears. All the stress of the last few weeks came pouring out. Theodore held her while she cried. "We're okay," he kept saying. "Our family is safe. No one can touch us now." That weekend, they decided to have a proper celebration. Just the three of them. They went to the beach even though it was still a bit cold. Amara had never seen the ocean. Her eyes went huge when she saw the water stretching out forever. It's so big, she breathed. They spent the day building sandcastles and collecting shells. Amara ran in and out of the waves, shrieking with laughter. Theodore and Nia chased her, all of them getting soaked. At one point, Theodore looked at Nia. The wind was blowing her hair. She was laughing at Amara's antics. She looked so beautiful and happy and free. "What are you thinking?" Nia asked, catching him staring. "That this is everything. This moment right here. This is everything I ever wanted without knowing I wanted it." "Me too." That night, they got ice cream and watched the sunset over the ocean. Amara sat between them, content and tired from the day. "Can we do this every year?" Amara asked. "Come to the beach? As a family tradition?" "Absolutely," Theodore said. "Every year. I promise." When they got home, Amara was so exhausted she fell asleep in the car. Theodore carried her up to the apartment and tucked her into bed without waking her. Then he and Nia collapsed on their couch. They were both sun-tired and happy. "I have something to tell you," Nia said. She sounded nervous. "What is it?" "I wasn't going to say anything yet. I wanted to be sure. But I can't keep it to myself anymore." "Nia, you're scaring me." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Actually, something's very right." She took his hand and placed it on her stomach. "I'm pregnant. We're having a baby." Theodore froze. His mind went completely blank. Then it started racing. Pregnant. Baby. They were having a baby. "Are you sure?" "I took 3 tests. And I went to the doctor yesterday. I'm about 6 weeks along. I got pregnant right around the time of the wedding. Maybe a little before. We're having a baby." Theodore said it out loud, testing the words. Then he started laughing. Pure joy bubbling up. "We're having a baby." Nia was laughing too, crying at the same time. "Are you happy?" "I know we said we'd wait a year, but..." "I'm happy. I'm so incredibly happy." Theodore pulled her into his arms. "When are you due?" "Late November. Right around Thanksgiving." "Amara's going to be so excited." "Should we tell her soon?" "Let's wait until you're 12 weeks. Make sure everything is okay first. Then we'll tell her together." They spent the rest of the night talking about the baby. Boy or girl? Names? How would they set up a nursery? What would Amara think about being a big sister? "She's going to be great at it," Nia said. "She's so loving and caring. She gets that from you. And from you. You taught her that it's okay to love. To trust. To let people in." The next few weeks passed quickly. Nia's morning sickness started. She was exhausted all the time. But she was happy. Theodore doted on her, making sure she ate properly and got enough rest. They told Amara about the baby when Nia was 12 weeks along. They sat her down in the living room one Saturday morning. "Amara, we have something very exciting to tell you," Theodore said. "What is it?" Nia took Amara's hand. "You're going to be a big sister. I'm having a baby." Amara's eyes went huge. "Really? A real baby?" "A real baby. They'll be here in November." "Will it be a boy or a girl?" "We don't know yet. We'll find out in a few weeks. What do you think? Are you excited?" Amara thought about it seriously. "Will you still love me when the baby comes?" "Oh, sweetheart." Nia pulled Amara into her lap. "We will always love you. Always. You're our first child. You made us a family. Nothing will ever change that. The baby will make our family bigger, not replace you. You promise?" "We promise," Theodore said. "You'll always be special to us. You'll always be our Amara." Amara smiled. "Then yes, I'm excited. I'm going to be the best big sister ever." And she was. As Nia's pregnancy progressed, Amara was involved in everything. She helped pick out names. She went to ultrasound appointments. She talked to Nia's growing belly, telling the baby about her day. In July, they found out they were having a boy. Theodore was overjoyed. A son. He was going to have a son. Amara was excited too. She immediately started planning what games she'd teach him. They prepared the second guest room as a nursery. They painted it a soft blue. Bought a crib and a changing table and all the things babies need. Amara helped pick out toys and books. Theodore cut his work hours down even more. He wanted to be there for every moment. Nia took maternity leave from her nursing job but continued with her classes online. She was determined to finish her degree. In late October, on a Tuesday night, Nia went into labor. It was early but not dangerously so. Theodore called their neighbor to stay with Amara, then rushed Nia to the hospital. The labor lasted 14 hours. Theodore stayed by Nia's side the whole time, holding her hand, encouraging her, telling her she was strong and brave and perfect. At 2:30 in the morning on November 2nd, their son was born. 6 pounds 8 ounces. Healthy and loud and beautiful. They named him Daniel Thomas Harrison. Daniel for Nia's father, who she'd never met. Thomas for Theodore's father. A name that honored both their pasts while looking forward to their future. Theodore held his son for the first time and cried. This tiny person. This perfect little human. He was a father. Not just to Amara, who he loved with all his heart, but to this baby boy who looked like a combination of him and Nia. He's perfect, Theodore whispered. He is, Nia agreed. She looked exhausted but happy. We made a person, Theodore. We made a life. The next day they brought Amara to the hospital to meet her baby brother. She was nervous at first, but when she saw Daniel, her face lit up. He's so tiny. Can I hold him? Theodore helped Amara sit in a chair and carefully placed Daniel in her arms. Amara looked down at the baby with pure love. Hi Daniel. I'm your big sister. I'm going to teach you everything. I'm going to protect you and play with you and love you forever. Theodore took a picture. Amara holding Daniel for the first time. It was a moment he wanted to remember always. They brought Daniel home 2 days later. Life became a blur of feedings and diaper changes and sleepless nights. But it was wonderful. Exhausting and wonderful. Amara was true to her word. She was the best big sister. She'd sit next to Daniel while he was in his swing. She'd bring him toys. She'd sing to him when he cried. She was so gentle and loving. One night, about 2 weeks after Daniel was born, Theodore found himself in the nursery at 3 in the morning. Daniel had woken up crying. Theodore fed him a bottle while sitting in the rocking chair. As he looked down at his son's face, he thought about the journey that had brought him here. Finding Amara in that parking lot. Meeting Nia. Falling in love. Building a family. Fighting to keep it. And now this. A newborn baby. A wife he adored. A daughter who called him daddy. A life that felt full and meaningful and right. Someone knocked softly on the door. Nia came in, her hair messy from sleep. Is he okay? She whispered. He's perfect. Just hungry. Nia sat on the arm of the rocking chair, leaning against Theodore. They both looked down at Daniel. I can't believe this is our life, Nia said. 2 kids. A family. Sometimes I think I'm going to wake up and it will all be a dream. It's real. This is all real. Theodore, I need to tell you something. Something that came in the mail today while you were at work. I didn't want to say anything in front of Amara. What is it? Nia pulled a letter from her robe pocket. It's from a lawyer. Apparently Gerald's brother lives in California. He heard about us somehow. About you adopting Amara. And he's filing a petition. He says that as Tasha's children's uncle by marriage, he has rights to Amara. He wants to challenge the adoption. Theodore felt his heart sink. Not again. Not another fight. When did this come? He asked. Today. The letter says we have 30 days to respond. There will be a hearing. We'll have to go to court. We've been through this before. We'll get through it again. But what if we don't? What if this time they actually take her? Theodore, I can't lose her. She's my niece. My daughter. I can't. We won't lose her. I promise you. We have lawyers. We have evidence. We have a year of stability and love and everything showing that Amara belongs with us. He has no case. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because we're her parents. Not by blood, necessarily. But in every way that matters. We love her. We've fought for her. We've built a life for her. No judge is going to take that away. Nia leaned her head on Theodore's shoulder. I'm scared. Me too. But we're scared together. And together we can handle anything. They sat there in the nursery holding their sleeping son, preparing to fight once again for their daughter. It wouldn't be easy. It never was. But love was worth fighting for. Family was worth fighting for. The next morning they called Jennifer Cho. She assured them that this petition was even weaker than the last one. Gerald's brother had no relationship with Amara. He'd never even met her. He had no grounds for custody. This will go nowhere, Jennifer said. But we'll respond properly. We'll show up to the hearing. And we'll win. I'm confident. Theodore held on to that confidence. They'd faced challenges before. They'd face this one too. And they'd come out the other side stronger. That night, after Amara was in bed and Daniel was sleeping, Theodore and Nia sat on their couch. Their couch where they'd had so many important conversations. Where they'd fallen in love. Where they'd planned their future. Whatever comes, Theodore said, we face it together. Together, Nia agreed. We're a family. Nothing can break that. Not petitions or hearings or people who don't understand. Our love is stronger than all of it. I believe that. Good. Because it's true. They sat together in the quiet, both of them thinking about the road ahead. It wouldn't be easy. But the best things in life never were. And this family, this beautiful, complicated, hard-won family, was the best thing either of them had ever known. As they sat there, Amara appeared in the hallway. She couldn't sleep. "Can I sit with you?" she asked. "Always," Theodore said. Amara climbed between them. They wrapped their arms around her. Their first child. Their brave, loving, resilient little girl. "I love you both," Amara said. "And I love Daniel. We're the best family." "We are," Nia said. "The very best." And in that moment, holding his daughter with his wife beside him and his son sleeping down the hall, Theodore knew that whatever challenges came next, they'd face them together. As a family. United by love and strengthened by every obstacle they'd already overcome. The road ahead might be uncertain. But their commitment to each other was absolute. And that, more than anything, was what mattered. The future stretched before them. Full of possibility. Full of hope. Full of love. And whatever came next, they were ready.